Hey everybody, welcome back to Guns and Gadgets, your source for Second Amendment news. One of the U.S. presidential candidates, who happens to be a Democrat, she is a U.S. Senator whose name is Kristen Gillibrand. Now she's out of the state of New York, which tells you a whole lot about what I'm about to say, but a couple days ago she released her plan for firearms and gun control should she be elected. Now I'll start with her quote, and I'm going to read it so I don't get it wrong, because we always want to give proper credit to those who are infringing regularly so we can hold them accountable. She said, quote, "As president, I'll issue an executive order directing the Department of Justice to prosecute gun trafficking through conspiracy charges." Yeah, so there's already crimes on the books for that, but if they want to create this gun trafficking conspiracy charge, the only person who should be afraid is this guy. Now she continued about expanding her advocacy for universal background checks and on all gun sales, and also for banning many semi-automatic firearms and their magazines. I believe it should be a mandatory class that every idiot that wants to put their hat in the ring to run for any office, whether it's local, state, federal, whatever, you have to take a test after being educated on what the Constitution really is. It's amazing. Now she didn't stop there. She wants to repeal the protection from 2005 that Congress put for manufacturers of firearms. What that does is it protects, say, Smith & Wesson from being sued because a gun they made was used by some CIA operative in killing people. The guns don't do the harm. It's the idiots who hold them. Just the same as like if a Ford runs over your dog, you can't sue Ford. You sue the idiot driving the car. And it actually keeps getting worse. She wants a national red flag law. So that's, I've stopped counting, but there's already 4 federal red flags in Congress, and there are 5 or 6, maybe even more, of these 22 Maroons running on the Democrat side for president. They want them as well, and it's probably all of them, but only a couple have not spoken up yet. Now, a check of her website, her campaign site, she's blaming Donald Trump for making a promise like 500 days ago that he would expand universal background checks. Background checks are done already. Newsflash for every Democrat out there flapping your gums: NICS checks are universal federal background checks. Dumbasses. She also wants to ban military-style assault weapons. There's no such thing as an assault weapon. It's a term that the New York Times admitted to making up as a political term. There's no such thing, and there are no military arms on the street. There's not a standing army in the world that uses an AR-15. They don't. Not at all. So I'm going to read you right from her campaign site so you can just see how loony she is. "I'll expand background checks and close loopholes. We will require universal background checks on all gun sales and transfers, including unlicensed sellers, as the Background Checks Expansion Act would do. We will also close the Charlestown loophole and establish red flag laws to keep guns out of the hands of dangerous individuals, including terrorists and domestic abusers." Red flags aren't for terrorists or domestic abusers. Red flags only take away the guns from us legal, law-abiding gun owners on a whim, on an allegation you have your rights violated without due process of law, without the strict scrutiny required under the Constitution of the United States. And this is just a backdoor way of getting around all that, and states are eating it up. But it continues. "I'll ban military-style assault weapons and large-capacity magazines. We can respect the Second Amendment while preventing our schools, movie theaters, dance clubs, concert halls, workplaces, and other public spaces from becoming massacre scenes. Weapons of war don't belong on the streets. Weapons of war aren't on the streets. And what's the one thing that these Democrats will not acknowledge that is in common, that these places have in common? Think about it again. Our schools, movie theaters, dance clubs, concert halls, workplaces, and other public places. They're all gun-free zones. That's why assassins or people looking to prove a point, or even false flag people, those who are carrying them out, that's where they go, because it's a target-rich environment, and the chances of somebody putting their life over the law are slim to none, and that's what happens. They don't go and shoot up places where there are going to be a lot of firearms. Now, of course, all the national gun control groups are up in arms saying, yay, she's awesome. The Giffords, the Moms Demand Action, the Every Town for Gun Safety. But the good news for us, those who think or don't want this type of idiot running the country, the good news for us is that, according to the latest poll predictions, Gillibrand is polling at about 0.4%, placing her in a four-way tie for 21st among the declared Democrats in the hunt for the 2020 nomination, which means she doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell. Go away, go back to New York. We don't want you. Please pass this along. This is information that everybody needs to know because somebody will vote for this person. And let's just make sure that that somebody or those somebodies aren't enough somebodies to get another AOC in office. But we need to do what we can to make sure that our rights are not thrown away with things like the red flag law or executive orders, because we're not following them. Newsflash, we're not. Hope you'll pass this along. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. We are very close to 100,000. And if you're relatively new here, you might not have heard me say it in a while, but once I hit 100,000, some lucky subscriber will be getting a free Smith & Wesson Shield. So that is coming up very, very soon. So you can help me get there. Pass out the links to the channel to your friends. Get them to subscribe. And that'll come much faster. Till we see each other again, this is Jared from Guns and Gadgets. Be safe, stay vigilant, carry a weapon. Bye-bye, Gillibrand. Not a shot. Take care, everybody.